Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and joining with me this evening. Thank you for being a part of our first ever Western Wednesday. My name is Susan de la Cruz Perez, and I'll be your host this evening. I'm actually coming here live today from our Office of Admissions here on our campus, Western Michigan University's main campus. I am an admissions counselor for WMU, so I can't tell you how excited I am for all of you to join our Bronco family in fall 2019. This Western Wednesday is especially for all of you who are newly admitted students. So congratulations in advance for being admitted to Western. That's awesome. So therefore, before we get started with our presentation portion of our meeting, I want to give you a quick breakdown of what we'll be doing today. So because this session is geared towards our admitted students, we want to cover a topic that seems to be pretty intimidating, which is how to complete your next steps. It really doesn't have to be an intimidating process, and I want to be here every step of the way so you know exactly what you need to do before you start in the fall. So I definitely want to get you all the information that you need. So if you want to follow along with me as I click through a presentation with you, you can also do it from the convenience of your computer or smart device. If you don't want to do it that way, you can definitely take notes as well, whatever is most helpful for you. So before we go ahead and get started with the presentation portion of our meeting, I do want to let you know that you can actually interact with me as well. So if you click on your screen, if you're using a smartphone or an iPad, if you click on that main screen, a chat icon should show up at the very bottom of your screen. If you click on chat, you'll see a running chat with everybody in it. You could also send me private messages at the very bottom of that chat if you want to send me a private message. Additionally, if you're already on the desktop, then you already see that chat icon, so definitely click on that. During the presentation portion, it's going to be about 15 to 20 minutes. And then after, if you've written any questions for me at that time, I'll definitely go through and answer as many questions as I can, get you all the information you need to know. Okay? So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. So before we type in I want to get this quickly to you. If you look at what I'm sending you in our chat, this is a link where you can your next steps. I see we have a few more people join with us. That's awesome. I just sent you a link. If you go ahead and click on that link in your chat bar, that'll open up the next steps page for you to see a list of next steps to complete before you start in the fall. I will go ahead and share my screen as well, and you can see what I'm doing to get to that same page if you were to access it through a browser. So if you're on your desktop and you just want to open up a new window, in the subject line, the Google, you're going to type in WMU Next Steps. What you're going to want to do is click on that first link. Welcome, future Broncos. Okay. Once you're here, you're going to see a list of different checklist items. These are the different items that you have to complete for your next steps. So why don't we go ahead, I'm going to run through each one by one just to give you a little bit more information about what exactly that entails to complete that step. You can see number one, it says learn more about WMU. We highly encourage that you come to campus, tour around, get to know this place because there are so many great things going on, and we're really excited about it, and we're definitely excited to share that with you. So if you want to set up a tour with us, you can always do a visit campus tour. That's a general campus tour. We typically have sessions at 10 a.m. and at 2:30 p.m. So if you click on this link right here where it says visit campus, that will take you to the sign up registration for one of those tours. Additionally, we do have an admitted student event. This is a really great opportunity for students to come to campus and get all of their next steps done right here. It is essentially a one-stop shop. So all of our students come in and they complete the checklist items, but in addition to that, they get to tour campus, they get to speak with academic advisors, they get to see student panels, there are parent panels as well. So it's really a great for you to get acclimated to university life. That's great. We have 2 events coming up for a mid-student event. One is on March 29th and one is on April 12th. So if you do click on this link, that will send you to the registration page. Okay, so after you've come to campus, the next step is to reserve your place. I see we have a few people joining us. That's awesome. Welcome. If you look at the chat icon at the bottom of your screen in the messages, the chat running messages, you can click on the link to see the same checklist that we're looking at right now. Right now we're on step number 2, to reserve your place. Now this is your admissions confirmation deposit. Essentially what this is, it's the opportunity for you to go and say, hey, I'm committing to Western. I definitely want to reserve my spot there, and we can make sure that we have a spot for you. So if you click on this link that says admissions confirmation deposit, I'm going to show you how to go about completing this deposit. So I'm going to go ahead and right click this and open it in a new window. Okay, this is your admissions confirmation deposit. So this is going to break it down step by step what exactly you need to do to pay this $100 deposit. I'm going to actually show you in a GoWMU window how to log in and complete this. So this page might look familiar for some people who have already logged into GoWMU. That's great if you already did. If not, that's okay. If you just type in gowmu.edu or click on this link right here, GoWMU, it will take you to the same page. If you've not already signed in before, you'll see a little line down here that says first time logging in. If you have already signed in, then you'll go ahead and use your BroncoNet ID and password to sign into your account. Now keep in mind your BroncoNet ID is 3 letters followed by 4 numbers. So for me, SPK8181. And then you're going to want to go ahead and type in your password. Awesome. Okay, so your page should look very similar to mine. If you go ahead and look under, you can either click on all links if it doesn't show up for you right away. For me, it shows up right away because I'm on this very frequently. But if not, just click on the all links and you'll see a section for payment and account information. This is where you're going to want to click. So now I'm going to go back to the other page that shows you the step-by-steps, but essentially you're clicking on the payment and account information. Okay, as you can see in our step-by-steps, the next thing you're going to want to do after you open this page is look at the very top portion, the toolbar of that next screen. You're going to want to go ahead and click on deposits. After you click on deposits, it's going to give you the term, select the semester that you'll be starting at WMU. I see that this says fall 2018. You're going to want to go ahead and select fall 2019. So with that, once you select fall 2019, you'll have the option to select an admission deposit. For this, you're also going to want to make sure that it says fall 2019. So admissions deposit fall 2019. When you scroll down, it's very similar to if you're buying something online. So you're going to want to put in your credit card information, payment information, whether it's debit or credit. We also do accept checks and money orders, so you can always send those to us. The address down here, send it. You can also send it in person with yourself if you'd like. That's definitely, you would take it to our cyber administration building where we are located, our Office of Admissions. Any of these options work great. And just remember that your deposit is essentially saving your spot here at Western. It is not something that is in addition to costs for tuition. It is simply holding your spot, and then that amount is applied towards your tuition once you start in the fall. So I would just keep that in mind. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to checklist item number 3. If you are joining us as of within the past couple minutes, just so you know, I sent this link out in our chat. You see our chat bar at the very side, the right side of our screen. There's going to be a link for this checklist item. If you go down to pay for college, you'll see a FAFSA option. Every new student has to complete a FAFSA. So if you go ahead and right click on FAFSA, So this is information that you'll have to complete. I highly recommend that you have a parent by you or guardian that can help you fill this out, because they will be looking for very specific information about taxes and all of that information. So just know that a FAFSA, this is where you would go to complete that. If you haven't already started one, you can start one right here and you can sign up. If you have already started it, then you can log in and complete it if you haven't submitted it already. Okay. Okay, we're already on to checklist item 4. This is where the fun starts happening. Now you can sign up for orientation. So in order to sign up for orientation, you're going to want to go ahead and right-click on that link. You'll see a gold box right here in the center that says register for new student orientation. So why don't you go ahead and click on that. Awesome. So you're going to see 4 different options here. Most of our students are going to wind up selecting the new student orientation. However, if you were a student that came to campus and competed in the Medallion Scholarship competition, or if you participated in the Honors First program in the spring, you will go ahead and select Honors First orientation. I'm going to select new student orientation for this purpose because most of our students are going to wind up using the new student orientation link above. So let me go ahead and click on that. This is a pretty easy form to fill out. You're going to want to start with your last name, type it in letter by letter in spaces. If your name is hyphenated, definitely use a hyphen. Next, you're going to enter in your Western identification number. This was actually sent to you in your acceptance letter. So if you're not sure what that number is, it should be in your acceptance letter. It is not the same thing as your BroncoNet ID, which is the 3 letters followed by 4-number combination code. It's going to be that 9-digit number in your acceptance letter. Once you type that in, you can go ahead and select one of 9 different orientation sessions. As you can see, these sessions are 2 days each. That is accurate. I do get a couple questions from students and they're like, wow, orientation is 2 days? Yeah, it's actually 2 days, and that's because you're going to be eating in the residence halls, you're going to be sleeping in the residence halls, eating in the dining center, and you'll also be able to meet with advisors and see campus and really see what it's like to be a freshman on campus. I think the most exciting part about orientation is that second day where students can actually sign up for their classes, because you will get to sign up for your classes. It's a very exciting time, and our students, they love it because they can already see themselves here. And I can't stress enough how exciting this is. So if you hit submit, that's all you need to do to complete your orientation. So that's pretty easy. Let's go back though to that checklist and look at the registering for housing checklist items. So we're looking at number 5. For this, you're going to go ahead and click on on-campus housing registration. Okay. Now, keep in mind that this is just to sign up for housing. So essentially, you're signing your housing contract. You're not going to quite yet specify where you want to live, but we highly encourage students to sign their housing contract as soon as possible. The reason I say this is because when you sign your housing contract, priority is given to students who sign the date before. So for example, it's date specific, not timestamp specific. So what I mean by that is if I was to sign up for housing today, and then one of my friends signed up for housing tomorrow, I'll actually get priority for choosing where I live before them. So it's date specific. So with that, in order to sign up for housing, you're going to want to go ahead and click on the new student sign up. Okay, now I'm actually going to back out of this for just a moment, because if you haven't already logged into GoWMU, it tends to time out or send you back to the landing page to type in your information for GoWMU. So I'm actually going to just back out of this for a moment and show you how to do it if you're going through your GoWMU account. Because for most people, after about 20 minutes or so of inactivity on this specific page, go WMU, it will time you out. So just like you went to go look and pay your admissions deposit, you're going to go ahead and type in your BroncoNet ID again. This is the one, 3 letters followed by 4 numbers. Type in your password. Okay, and again, your screen should look like this. What you're going to want to do is go to that All Links tab. Click on All Links. Scroll down until you see Residence Life Housing. So you're going to want to go ahead and click on that. As you can see, this is the same page that pulled up in my checklist, but I just wanted to show you how to get there. So although you see WMU Apartments and Western View, these are apartments. Our freshmen are not allowed to live in the apartments for that first year, but definitely there are so many options to come year. So I highly encourage you to keep these in mind for where you might want to live your second year. So go ahead, if you haven't already, click on Residence Halls. What you're going to want to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom. You're going to see it says Residence Halls Applications. Some of these are going to say closed, some of them are going to say open. If they're open, that means you can click on it and you can sign that contract. I want to direct your attention to where it says Fall plus Spring Housing and Dining Application and Contract. With this, as soon as you click on this, I'm not going to click on it because it won't show anything for me because I'm not a newly admitted student. But for you, when you click on this and you open it in a new window, it's going to give you a contract to sign. So essentially, you're going to have several questions that you can fill out. Questions about yourself, what are you interested in, what are your hobbies, and it's very cool. I like to say that it's sort of like Match.com when you submit this, because around April 1st, a roommate finder is going to go live, and you can essentially see who you're compatible with. You can see your matches and actually start talking to these people, which is pretty cool. So that's how you would go about completing that. One thing I want to draw your attention to, although you can't specifically pick out where you want to live right now, it's just the contract side of things. If you go back to that residence life checklist item that we clicked on, you can click on residence halls and see more information about each of the residence halls. One thing that I personally love is the fact that you can see where our different learning communities are. I really highly recommend that if you haven't already considered living in a learning community, that you do so now because they are so cool. If you want to live, let's say in Valley 1, Ackley, Schilling, let me click on that. I can see in this hall what learning communities are there. So if I click on learning communities and scroll down, these are all the different learning communities that are there. So aviation students, business students, fine arts. You have the option to live with people who are all interested and passionate about the same things that you are. And how cool is that? And these people honestly become your best study buddies. So definitely something to keep in mind. As I said, you can't choose that quite yet, but you will get the option in early May to mid-May. You'll get an email, and depending upon when you signed your housing contract, they're going to say, hey, this is your day and time to go in there and select where you want to live. So it is always nice to see what your options are ahead of time so you can pick them as soon as possible. Okay. This last checklist items, 6 and 7, are sort of two in the same. We want to make sure that you're ready to come to Western. So I can't tell you how important it is for you to finish out strong your senior year. You guys are already admitted, which is awesome. You already have brown and gold rushing through your veins. Definitely finish out strong. Keep up the good work. You already made it here. With that, you are going to need to send your final high school transcript once you finish your senior year. And just like you did when you sent your transcript the first time, you're going to send that transcript through Parchment, and that's how we would receive that. So as you can see, this checklist really isn't so daunting, and I hope this helps ease the questions or confusion that you might have. I definitely want to make this as easy for everyone as I possibly can. I am going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and just answer any questions that you guys might have. Okay, I see one question already. Isn't Aviation LLC in Henry Hall? Yes, in Henry Hall we do have, that is essentially the hall for aviation students, but you can also, if you don't want to live in Henry Hall, we do also have a learning community for aviation in that Ackley-Schilling. That's a great question, but yes, you are right. You can have aviation. You can live in Henry Hall for aviation. Any other questions? Definitely feel free. I'll give a couple moments to type any questions that you might have. I hope this is very helpful. Can you pull up? Okay, let's go ahead. Community. Community. Just want to take a look at our learning communities here. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go. Sorry, bear with me for a moment. Yeah, you'll see all information here in terms of what learning communities are in what building, the Ackley-Schilling one. Let's go ahead and open that aviation house. Let's see what it says. So it looks like we have a testimonial about living in the aviation house. Okay. So it looks like based on this, students in Western Michigan University College of Aviation can opt into living in the aviation house located in Henry Hall. The community offers the opportunity for those who love aviation to live together. Okay, so yes, it looks like you're definitely going to want to look to live in Henry Hall. It looks like this is just sort of like the landing page for that, so that you can sign up to live in Henry Hall. So great question. Okay. Will I miss any opportunities if I choose not to live in my learning community? The biggest opportunities that you get from living in a learning community is essentially that you're surrounded by people who are all interested in the same things that you are. They do become your best study buddies, but I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to live in a learning community. Certainly live where you feel is best. You're not going to be left behind at any point because we have the same support resources for students regardless of where they live. So if you do need help with academics and such, and you're not necessarily living around all people who are in the same classes as you, that's definitely okay. We have so many resources to help you with whatever you need. Don't feel the stress to live in a learning community. I just love them so much, so I always try to showcase that a little bit. But that's a great question. You won't be left behind, so don't worry. We'll get you exactly where you need to be, and we have all the support services for you. Okay, any other questions? Let's go ahead and just open it up for a couple more minutes or so and see if we get anything. It's always exciting to talk about Western and help students get ready to come in the fall. It's such an exciting time of the year. Is there a deadline to commit to WMU? Okay, that's a great question. So May 1st is National Decision Day, and that's pretty across the board with all universities and colleges. May 1st, you're going to want to have a really good idea of where you want to go to school. We always recommend students to try to complete all their checklist items as soon as possible. So A, we can reserve a spot for you here at Western, and B, so that you're already set up if you choose to come in the fall. With that, I would keep in mind that if you have already done your enrollment deposit before May 1st, you can actually cancel your enrollment deposit if you choose to go somewhere else. So just keep that in mind. May 1st is going to be that decision date. Anything after that is not. So yeah, great question. Great question. These are all really good questions. Okay, I'm going to keep it open for another minute or so if we get any lingering questions. While people are thinking about any potential questions, I want to go ahead and send you a survey link in our chat. This is very helpful for me in terms of seeing how was your experience using Zoom? Did you get your questions answered? What are you interested in learning more about? All of these help us make these Western Wednesday sessions more helpful for our students. So definitely if you have 2 to 5 minutes to fill out the survey, I would really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. How is safety on campus and in the area? Again, that's a great question. I would say that we are a very safe campus. One thing I really love is that right here on main campus, we have a police department. So they are constantly going through campus and checking in with our students. They're actually very involved in our student life as well. It's very common that you'll see police officers walking around just checking in with you, seeing if you're having a good day. We also have a lot of, they're called like emergency stations. So there's these tall blue poles where if you see something going on that you're sort of like questioning what's going on activity-wise, there's a phone connected to each of those stations and they're scattered throughout campus. So if you want to get a hold of a police officer and you're not in your apartment, in your residence hall, or wherever, you can actually grab one of these phones and say, hey, I think something's going on. Can you help me? And they will be there very shortly because, as I said, they're located right here on campus. So we are very safe. I'm happy to say. We also have something called WMU Alerts. So if you type in a Google, just open up a Google page and type in WMU Alerts, you can actually opt into our alert system by texting a specific code to this number. You'll actually get alerted when there's suspicious activity going on in the area, or even in Kalamazoo for that matter. It's also very helpful if we have, for example, a snow day, or if there's inclement weather and probably you shouldn't be traveling outside or walking around. That's also a great way to get information about that as well. So we try to be very in tune with our students and get them the responses that they're looking for, just to make sure everybody's safe. And yeah, great question. I really appreciate that question. Okay. If you haven't already done so, I do have that survey link in our chat if you want to go ahead and fill out a 2 to 5 minute survey. Give me a little bit more information about this. How was it helpful for you? What do you want to know more about? Yeah, I'm so excited for you guys to start in the fall. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and reshare this link really quick. I'm seeing that it might not have gone through, so just bear with me for one moment. Okay. All right, for those of you who didn't see my link, I did reshare that. If you have a couple minutes to fill out the survey, that'd be awesome. Very helpful. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Again, I hope this was helpful for you all. We are so excited to have you. If you do have additional questions about anything, feel free to reach out to myself or any of my colleagues here in the Office of Admissions. We are happy to help you in any way that we can. All right, you guys have a great night. Thanks again so much. Go Broncos!